Thank you, Mike. I'm happy to be here. It's sad it's under these circumstances, but happy to be here.
Well, me too, and I my heart goes out. I see all these local restaurants that are desperately trying to provide curbside service, delivery. A lot of these are restaurants that are, usually packed. I'm trying every day as a guy who eats out all the time normally. I'm trying to patronize every one of these that I can, and to watch them light up when you give them a $20 tip or a $50, whatever you can afford, because they're struggling. It's so hard right now. Carol, give us an overview of what restaurants and motels and hotels are looking like in Florida. It's got to be pretty bleak.
It is, Mike. It's sad, but what I loved hearing you say is with the spirit of America. So we're going to bounce back. It's going to take time. I know that's hard for people to understand now, but right now it's pretty bleak. We have, all of our major attractions are closed. This industry is the economic engine of our state with 1.5 million employees, and we have at least 50%, if not more, of our employees are unemployed today. So if you think about, $111 billion in sales and over half the workforce staying at home, trying to get on the unemployment lines, it's unfortunately a very sad day.
But Carol, let's talk about the issue of credit and access to capital. Everything capital is oxygen to small businesses. How is that process working? And are businesses going to feel the effects of some of this stimulus money?
There's no question, Mike, that if people can get in line and get their checks get processed, get their paperwork processed, we have some members who have already received checks. And so there is absolutely no question it's going to help. We've got to get these employees back employed. Thank you to the president and the Congress for giving us at least the 2.5. I mean, we realize that it should be longer and it probably will need to be much longer, but at least we can get our employees back employed and get at least 8 to 10 weeks of some relief. So we're encouraging our members. If you haven't already filled out your paperwork, get to your financial institution today and don't waste any time.
This very difficult decision, Carol, of when the economy starts to come back to life again. We want to
Yeah.
protect life. We don't want a resurgence of this virus. On the other hand, what's got to be keeping you up at night is the
Yeah.
longer thing lasts, the harder it's got to be for the business owners who have hotels and motels and restaurants all throughout the Sunshine State.
That's right. Not to mention we're going into summer, which is obviously for a state like Florida, the Sunshine State, it's our peak season. But what a needle that has to be threaded here. I don't envy at all our politicians and our great Governor DeSantis is doing a super job. But that needle's got to get thread. When do you open up Florida and other states and get this economic engine running, but not exacerbate the pandemic that's out there?
Um,
You know,
I yeah, I would
that'll be
encourage
up to the
a
scientists, but I can tell you we're spending a lot of hours trying to study and learn from people like Robert Irvine and how do we get reopened and build consumer confidence. I think that's going to be our next biggest challenge is we have to get the consumer ready to come back into our restaurants and travel to our 850 miles of beautiful beaches.
You bet it. Thanks, Carol. Carol Dover, President and CEO of the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association. Carol, you guys keep fighting the good fight. I know it's tough. We're praying for you. And as I keep saying, patronize your local businesses. So many restaurants are doing their best to stay afloat by offering takeout, offering delivery. Take them up on that. And don't forget jobcreatorsnetwork.com. Share your stories. Let them be your advocate. Jobcreatorsnetwork.com.